Before you continue with your day, pause for just a moment. You may have been carrying more than anyone realizes. You smile when people ask if you're okay. You keep showing up, even when your heart feels tired. You tell yourself just one more day. But deep inside, you're wondering how much longer you can keep going. If that sounds like you, don't leave this message. This isn't about pretending life is easy. This is about discovering a strength you may have forgotten you already have. So take a slow breath. Quiet every distraction. Open your heart, because this message is for the one who feels weary but refuses to give up. My child, I know how heavy this season is felt. Not every burden can be seen. Some of the heaviest battles are carried in silence. People notice the smile on your face. They hear the words, "I'm fine," but they cannot hear the conversations happening inside your mind. They do not know how often you question yourself. They do not see the moments when you sit alone, wondering if you're strong enough to keep moving. I see those moments. I have never looked away. You have spent so much energy trying to appear strong that you have forgotten what true strength really is. True strength is not pretending you never struggle. True strength is choosing not to surrender when the struggle arrives. You think strength means never crying, but tears are not proof of weakness. Sometimes they are proof that your heart has continued loving, hoping, and believing through difficult seasons. Do not be ashamed of them. Every person carries battles that others cannot fully understand. Comparison will always tell you that everyone else is doing better. But comparison only shows you carefully edited moments. It never reveals the hidden struggles. You are not alone in your questions. You are not alone in your fears. You are not alone in your waiting. One of the greatest mistakes you make is believing that because you feel weak, you are weak. Feelings are temporary. Your identity is not. There have been days when you felt like giving up, yet you didn't. There were mornings when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain, yet you still stood up. There were nights when uncertainty stole your sleep, yet the next morning you chose to try again. Do you realize what that says about you? It says there's a strength inside you that you have not fully recognized. You keep looking for extraordinary courage, but extraordinary courage is often hidden inside ordinary decisions. Choosing to keep going, choosing to forgive, choosing to hope, choosing to believe that tomorrow can still hold something beautiful. These choices may seem small, but repeated day after day, they build a life that can endure storms. Do not despise small victories. The world celebrates dramatic moments, but lasting character is built in quiet ones. Every time you choose patience over anger, you become stronger. Every time you choose honesty when dishonesty seems easier, you become stronger. Every time you choose kindness after being hurt, you become stronger. Strength is not something that suddenly appears. It grows, slowly, faithfully, one decision at a time. You have also been carrying expectations that were never meant to define your worth. You expected your life to reach certain milestones by now. You imagined different outcomes, different timelines, different opportunities. When life unfolded differently, disappointment quietly convinced you that you had failed. But your journey is not measured by someone else's calendar. A meaningful life is not a race against the people around you. It is a daily choice to become the person you were created to be. There are lessons that can only be learned through patience. There is wisdom that can only be gained through experience. There is compassion that can only grow after you've known pain yourself. None of those gifts arrive overnight. That is why this season has mattered. Not because it was easy, but because it has been shaping a heart that is wiser, gentler, and more resilient than before. So today, stop asking whether you are strong enough. Instead, notice how far you have already come. Notice every obstacle you survived. Notice every disappointment that did not destroy you. Notice every time you found the courage to stand again after falling. Those moments are evidence. Evidence that you are stronger than fear wants you to believe. And there is something else about your strength that you have not yet discovered. Something that has been quietly growing inside you through every challenge you've faced. My child, there is a reason you have not broken, even after everything you have faced. It is not because every day has been easy. It is because every challenge has been quietly building something within you that no storm can easily take away. You have often asked for a life without struggles. But if every road had been smooth, would you have discovered the strength that now lives inside your heart? Some of your greatest qualities were not born during your happiest moments. They were born during the nights when you had every reason to give up, yet you chose to keep believing. The strongest trees are not created by calm weather. They become strong because they continue standing through countless storms. Their roots grow deeper with every season they survive. The same has been happening to you. Your roots have been growing deeper than you realize. Every disappointment has taught you resilience. Every delay has taught you patience. Every closed door has taught you that your purpose cannot be limited by one opportunity. Nothing has been wasted. Even the moments you wish had never happened are now part of the wisdom you carry. There are people who only know success, but when life suddenly becomes difficult, they have nothing beneath them to keep them standing. You are different. You have learned how to keep walking when certainty disappears. You have learned how to remain kind when life feels unfair. You have learned how to hold on to hope when the future looks unclear. These lessons are treasures. Do not trade them for temporary comfort. I know you sometimes wonder why your progress feels slower than everyone else's. You scroll through stories of people celebrating promotions, relationships, achievements, and milestones. For a moment, you feel happy for them. Then a quiet voice whispers, "What about me?" Be careful with that voice. It does not speak truth. It speaks comparison. And comparison has one goal: to make you forget how far you have already come. You were never called to live someone else's story. You were never meant to copy another person's journey. Your path carries lessons that belong only to you. Some people bloom early. Others bloom after seasons of hidden growth. Neither journey is more valuable. Each life unfolds according to its own purpose. Stop measuring your worth by another person's timeline. Measure it by your willingness to keep growing. Because growth is the real victory. There will always be someone faster, someone richer, someone more recognized. If you chase comparison, you will never find peace. But if you focus on becoming better than the person you were yesterday, peace begins to replace pressure. You also need to understand something about failure. You have treated failure like a final destination. It never was. Failure is a teacher. Sometimes it teaches you new skills. Sometimes it changes your direction. Sometimes it protects you from becoming proud. Sometimes it simply reminds you that success is rarely built on the first attempt. Do not fear failure. Fear refusing to learn. Every setback contains a lesson that can become tomorrow's strength. The people who eventually succeed are not always the most talented. Very often, they're simply the ones who refuse to quit. And you're still here. That matters. There is courage in continuing. There is honor in persistence. There is beauty in refusing to let disappointment become your identity. I want you to stop looking at yourself through the eyes of your worst moments. Look at yourself through the progress you have made. Notice how much calmer you have become. Notice how much wiser your decisions are. Notice how much more compassion you have for others who are struggling. Pain did not only challenge you, it changed you, not into someone weaker, but into someone deeper, someone who understands, someone who listens, someone who values people more than appearances. Those qualities cannot be bought. They are earned, and they will become part of the legacy you leave behind. So when the road feels long, remember this: you are not simply surviving, you are becoming. Every step is preparing you for responsibilities you cannot yet see. Every lesson is shaping a future version of you that will one day encourage someone else to keep going. And there is one more truth about your hidden strength that I want to reveal. A truth that will change the way you look at every challenge that still lies ahead. My child, there is something remarkable about your life that you have not fully recognized. You have been asking me to remove every mountain from your path. But what if some mountains were never placed there to stop you? What if they were placed there to reveal the strength you never knew you possessed? Imagine a musician who never practices, or an athlete who never trains. They may have talent, but talent alone cannot prepare them for the moment that truly matters. In the same way, your spirit has been growing through every challenge you have faced. You did not become stronger because life was easy. You became stronger because you kept choosing hope when fear invited you to quit. That choice has shaped you more than you realize. I know there were days when you felt like no progress was being made. You looked at your life and saw unfinished dreams, unanswered questions, and roads that still seemed uncertain. But you were looking only at the surface. Beneath the surface, your heart was changing. Your perspective was changing. Your priorities were changing. You once chased approval. Now you seek peace. You once feared being misunderstood. Now you value living with honesty more than being accepted by everyone. You once believed that success would finally make you happy. Now you are beginning to understand that lasting joy comes from living with purpose. That is growth. And growth is one of the greatest miracles that often goes unnoticed. Never think that because something cannot be measured, it has no value. You cannot measure kindness with a ruler. You cannot weigh peace on a scale. You cannot count the quiet moments when you chose love instead of anger. Yet those moments are transforming your life. They are shaping the person you are becoming. There will always be voices trying to convince you that you are not enough. Some of those voices come from people. Some come from old memories. Some come from your own fears. But none of those voices have the authority to define your future. The only voice you should follow is the one that calls you to grow, to love, to forgive, and to keep moving forward. When you listen to fear, your world becomes smaller. When you choose courage, your world begins to expand. Courage does not mean you never feel afraid. It means fear no longer makes your decisions. You have already proven this more times than you realize. Every time you step forward despite uncertainty, you chose courage. Every time you loved after experiencing disappointment, you chose courage. Every time you tried again after failure, you chose courage. Do not overlook these victories simply because they happened quietly. Quiet victories often become the strongest foundations for the future. There is another lesson hidden inside your journey. You have been so focused on reaching the destination that you have forgotten to appreciate who you are becoming along the way. One day, the goals you are chasing today will become memories. The achievements that seem so important now will eventually fade. But your character, your compassion, your integrity, those things will remain. They are treasures that time cannot take away. Build your life on those treasures. Success without character is fragile. Achievement without humility is empty. Recognition without kindness is quickly forgotten. But a heart that continues to love, serve, encourage, and remain faithful leaves a legacy that reaches far beyond a single lifetime. That is the kind of life I desire for you. Not simply a life filled with accomplishments, but a life that leaves hope wherever it goes. So if today you still feel uncertain, do not let uncertainty become an excuse to stop walking. Take the next step, even if it feels small, even if no one notices, even if the road ahead is still unclear. Because every faithful step carries you closer to the person you were created to become. And before this message reaches its conclusion, there is one final truth about your strength that you must understand. A truth that will remain with you long after these words have faded. My child, before this message comes to its conclusion, there is something I want you to carry into every new day. You have spent too much time believing that strength is something you must earn. You thought you had to prove yourself. Prove that you are capable. Prove that you are worthy. Prove that you deserve another chance. But listen carefully. A life built on proving yourself will never know true peace. There will always be another expectation, another comparison, another mountain to climb, another voice telling you that you still are not enough. Do not spend your life chasing approval that can disappear overnight. Instead, build your life on truth. Truth remains when opinions change. Truth remains when circumstances shift. Truth remains when success feels distant. The truth is that your value has never been determined by your achievements. It has always been revealed through the person you choose to become. Every challenge has presented you with a choice: to become harder or kinder, to become fearful or wiser, to become bitter or more compassionate. Those choices matter far more than you realize. Many people spend years chasing a bigger life. Few spend time building a better heart. But a better heart creates a better life. Never forget that. I know there have been moments when disappointment whispered that your best days were already behind you. That was never true. Your future is not limited by your past. Your purpose is not confined to your mistakes. Your dreams are not canceled because your journey has taken longer than expected. Some of the most beautiful chapters of life begin after seasons of uncertainty. The sunrise never asks permission from the darkness. It simply arrives at the appointed time. In the same way, hope can return even after your longest night. Do not close your heart because life once hurt you. Do not stop believing because one season felt difficult. Do not stop loving because someone failed to appreciate your kindness. The world needs people who continue choosing goodness, even when goodness is not returned. Be one of those people, not because it is easy, but because it reflects the person you are becoming. You also need to stop carrying the weight of perfection. Perfection was never your assignment. Faithfulness was. Show up each day with honesty. Do your best with what you have. Learn from your mistakes. Celebrate your progress. Then keep moving forward. That is enough. Remember, even rivers reach the ocean 1 mile at a time. Even the tallest mountains were shaped one season at a time. Even the brightest stars shine because they continue burning through the darkness. You're no different. Do not despise slow progress. Slow progress is still progress. There will come a day when someone asks how you remained hopeful during difficult seasons. They will see your peace. They will notice your strength. They will wonder how you kept moving when life became so uncertain. And your life itself will become the answer. Not because you were fearless, but because you refused to surrender hope. That quiet decision will inspire people more than you can imagine. So continue becoming the kind of person whose presence brings peace into every room. The kind of person who encourages without expecting recognition. The kind of person who listens before speaking. The kind of person who lifts others instead of competing with them. These are the victories that last. These are the treasures that cannot be taken away. And now, there's one final message I want to place within your heart before this journey comes to an end. A message that I hope you will remember whenever life asks more of you than you think you can give. My child, as these words come to an end, I do not want you to remember only the sentences you have heard. I want you to remember the truth they were meant to awaken inside your heart. For too long, you have believed that your strength depended on what happened around you. When life was peaceful, you felt confident. When life became difficult, you questioned everything. But now you know something different. Real strength is not found in perfect circumstances. It is found in a heart that continues to choose hope when the road is uncertain. There will always be moments that test your courage. Days when your plans do not unfold the way you expected. Conversations that leave your heart disappointed. Dreams that take longer than you imagined. Do not fear those moments. They are not signs that your story is falling apart. Very often, they're the places where your character grows the deepest. Remember this whenever life feels heavy. You have survived every difficult day that once convinced you it would be impossible to continue. Every storm that tried to stop you has become part of your testimony. Every setback has quietly added wisdom to your journey. Every tear has taught your heart compassion. Nothing has been meaningless. Even the chapters you wanted to erase have helped shape the person standing here today. So stop calling yourself weak because you still have questions. Stop believing you have failed because your journey looks different from someone else's. Stop waiting until you feel fearless before taking the next step. Courage has never required the absence of fear. It simply asks you to keep walking anyway. As you continue forward, guard your heart carefully. Do not allow bitterness to settle where kindness once lived. Do not allow comparison to steal the joy that belongs to your own journey. Do not allow temporary disappointments to convince you that lasting hope no longer exists. Protect your peace. Choose your words carefully. Speak life over yourself. Speak hope over your future. The words you repeat every day become the direction your heart begins to follow. Let your heart become a place where gratitude grows stronger than complaint, where forgiveness grows stronger than resentment, where faith grows stronger than fear. Because the strongest people are not always the loudest. Often, they're the ones who quietly continue doing what is right when no one is watching. Be that person. Choose honesty when deception seems easier. Choose humility when pride offers quick applause. Choose patience when frustration demands immediate answers. Choose love, even when the world encourages indifference. Those choices will build a life that remains steady through every season. And when the day comes that you finally stand where you once dreamed of standing, do not forget the road that brought you there. Remember the nights when you almost gave up. Remember the mornings when simply getting out of bed required courage. Remember the prayers whispered through tears. Remember the hope you chose when nothing around you seemed to change. Those moments will keep your heart humble. They will remind you that every blessing carries a responsibility, to encourage others who are still walking through their own difficult seasons. So become a light, not because your life is perfect, but because you know what it feels like to search for hope in the darkness. Let your kindness remind someone that goodness still exists. Let your compassion remind someone that healing is possible. Let your courage remind someone that difficult seasons do not last forever. And whenever you begin to doubt yourself again, pause for a moment. Take one deep breath. Then remember this truth. You are stronger than you think. Not because you have never fallen, but because every time life knocked you down, you found the courage to rise again. That courage is already within you. Carry it into tomorrow. Carry it into every new opportunity. Carry it into every challenge you have yet to face. Walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with humility. Walk forward with peace. The road ahead may still hold questions, but it also holds possibilities you cannot yet imagine. Your story is not ending here. It is still unfolding. The chapters ahead will require faith. They will require patience. They will require courage. And after everything you have already overcome, I know you are ready. So lift your head, open your heart, take the next step, and never forget this simple truth. The strength you have been searching for has been growing inside you all along. May your heart remain steady. May your hope remain alive. May your courage grow stronger with every new sunrise. And may you always remember, you are never alone. You are deeply loved, and your greatest chapters are still waiting to be written. Go forward in peace.